As soon as I finished recording that last video, I realized I needed to do another one. I barely touched this topic. Actually, I'll probably end up doing at least two more. This one I wanted to talk about the rifle real quick, and again, I know there's a lot of guys out there that know a lot about this weapon. I'm just kind of throwing a general broad outline for maybe some guys who aren't as comfortable with the weapon as others. You know, the gun culture sometimes can be a lot like gym culture. There's a lot of meatheads wandering around out there, thumping their chest trying to show how tough they are and how much they know. But the AR-15 is really a pretty simple weapon system. It was designed by Eugene Stoner. It developed out of another rifle called the Stoner rifle that was really popular with the Navy SEALs in Vietnam, or at least with a number of them. It was originally designed to chamber the .308 Winchester, or the 7.62 NATO is what it's called. Over the years, it's developed into one of the most refined weapons platforms, at least as far as small arms go in the history of the world. It had a rocky start. There's still some myths out there about the rifle that persist about reliability issues and jams. Though there's a modicum of truth underneath all of that, those issues were grounded in the very early days of the adoption of the rifle. The military was not happy about this rifle when they first got it. It got jammed down their throats by the Kennedy administration. I'm sure someday I will post a video about my views on the Kennedy administration. Suffice to say, I despise that entire group of men. Robert McNamara should have been shot with an AR-15 instead of sending men to war with it. But all of the issues that existed at the time were design flaws that the military was trying to correct, that Kennedy's band of useless idiots wouldn't listen about too. Since then, the rifle has been, like I said, thoroughly tested and vetted and refined to the point where there is almost no more reliable weapon system on the market. And in my opinion, even the vaunted AK-47. You know, the thing with the AK-47 and its reliability is that it's just so poorly designed and so poorly made with mechanical tolerances that are so extreme that it just can't jam. But that really poor construction and poor manufacturing means it also can't hit anything. It's just a remarkably inaccurate weapon. And if you just really want to shoot that round, the 7.62 by 39 that the AK-47 fires, you'd be much better served with the Mini 30 than the AK-47. Even though I know you can spend money and turn anything into an accurate weapon, you could spend that same money on a different weapon system and have a lot more weapon than you'll end up with the AK-47. That's my soapbox. Let me give you a quick course on the AR-15, just to tell you the vocabulary and the nomenclature. There's been a lot of versions and variations. Most of them have some sort of touchstone to a military version. Over the years, the military's had the M16, the M16A1, A2, and now the M4. The differences originally weren't very much. The M16A2 is kind of the ubiquitous version we all think of when we think about the M16. The differences between that and the original rifle were the forward assist and the rear sights for the most part. The dust cover got put in at some point. I don't remember exactly when. But the major components of the rifle are the upper receiver. That's this part right here. Technically, the upper receiver is just this part. The barrel attaches to the upper receiver. Sometimes this gets called a flash suppressor. It is not a flash suppressor. Usually you can get flash suppressors, but this is a muzzle brake. This is ported so that some of the escaping gases from the bullet are vented upwards, and it helps keep muzzle rise down per shot, lets you get a quicker follow-on shot. This is your front sight post, and then obviously your carry handle here is part of your upper receiver, and your rear sights. The bolt carrier group is on the inside, and there went the charging handle. This is kind of the guts of the weapon. The bottom here is your lower receiver, and technically the lower receiver is this part right here, pistol grip, buttstock, and then the magazine, which I have inserted. Those are the basic components of the AR-15. Now the devil's in the details. So the basic components being the upper receiver, the lower receiver, the barrel. Obviously you got your trigger group in the lower receiver. You have almost an infinite amount of variety inside that those parameters right there. But those are the basics of the rifle. And you can buy all these separate and assemble a rifle. You can buy a rifle complete. But with this weapon system, you can have almost all the rifle you'll ever need. Obviously, you know, you're not going to go elephant hunting. Good, but you probably want a different rifle for that. But that's the basics of the weapon. It's good out to 500 yards if you are. It fires bullets from 55 grains up to about 80 grains. You can have some crazy rounds. The guy's Wildcat a little bit higher than that. They're probably not going to be reliable out of a service grade rifle. And I guess I need to point out that what I'm talking about are service grade rifles. I'm talking about a rifle that you would take in the woods and sleep with and go to war with and bang around and carry. I'm not talking about a Safe Queen. I'm not talking about a $3,500 varmint rig where you're shooting woodchucks out at 1,000 yards, which you wouldn't do with this round anyway, but guys do it. I'm talking about a good main battle rifle, an MBR, a go-to-war rifle for the average infantryman. In the next video, I'll tell you which features I think you should get on your rifle. If you're only going to have one, now obviously if you're going to have more than one rifle, it doesn't matter. But if you're only going to have one rifle or one AR-15, I think there's a real specific way it should be set up, and I'll talk about that on my next video. I appreciate it, guys.